What is going on, guys? Blink here, back with a new guide. So I decided to create this pinching and pressuring guide to help you guys get that upper edge on your opponents. Also, the V-Bucks giveaway is still going on, so make sure to visit the link in the description to enter. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications as I post an Amazon gift card code in the comments every time I upload. By turning on notifications, you'll have a way better chance of getting here first and redeeming that code. Anyways, guys, let's get to this guide. Now, you never want to be spread out from your teammates as it can put you in disadvantages. Believe it or not, there's some advantages only if you utilize them properly. So me and my teammate were a little farther from each other, and what I started to do is focus on the opponent pushing my teammate. This will help your team out if you can do some damage onto the opponent that's pushing. I was able to take his shield off and my teammate finished him off. Now, another advantage is when you're both split, your opponents have to be cautious when peeking out, as they can't see both of you in one frame, and you also need to be cautious. I ended up getting sniped and took some damage because I tunnel visioned, although I was able to recover and snipe my opponent back as he's got to keep track of both of us. Now, a few seconds later, another team appeared and tried pressuring my teammate. They also had no way of telling where I was because once again, I won't pop up in the same frame as my teammate since I'm a little farther. This allowed me to line up a shot as they had no clue it was coming. So if you can properly utilize being far from your teammates, then you can give yourself some advantages even from a distance. So I want to give you guys a quick tip when fighting inside buildings. If you have any traps, then place one under your opponent as you're fighting him. You'll be pretty likely to eliminate him with the trap, or at least put some damage onto him. It's just another great way of giving yourself the advantage while fighting inside. It's also a great way to not need to engage in some situations. If your opponent's inside a little room, or even inside the little brick huts outside, then place a trap on the floor and close the door. Your opponent's going to try opening the door and just keep closing it on him and wait for the elimination. If he tries breaking the wall out, then don't worry as he won't have time to do it. Now, if you're playing more defensive by hiding your traps, then place them on the ceiling, not the ground, as it's harder to spot on ceilings. Hopefully this can help some of you guys utilize your traps a little more. Alright, so one more thing about traps, as I might as well add this quick example. The only time you want to hide traps on the ground is if you're adding a floor after your staircase, then the trap will hide pretty well. Here's an example of my traps placed on a mountain. My opponent stepped on it and has to now go in instant defense mode. Keep in mind this is the last fight of the game. All I have to do is run up on him and shotgun him in the face. Just gonna keep it short, as you guys know I've talked about this mountain trap placement a million times. So this is just another good reason of using your traps. Alright, so let's talk about adding more pressure onto your opponents. So if you notice the storm is closing in soon, and you've knocked one of your opponents down, if his teammate's going for the revive, then you can keep shooting out their materials to not allow the revive to happen. Every time you see a new wall rebuild, then you know you have reset your opponents from the revive. A lot of the times teammates will try getting the revive off, and no matter what happens, they're still gonna try getting that revive off. If you're not able to get the revive off the first few times, then you need to put the pressure back onto your opponents. He could have sniped one of us if he knew what to do. We're both focusing on his materials, and whenever players do that, then try going for the snipe. He's got to try downing one of us with that sniper, or that revive is just not going to happen. He ended up dying to the zone because he just had no clue what he should have done. So I'll show you guys an example of me being pressured and I wasn't able to get the revive off. I used the third person peeking angle to keep an eye on my opponents. I ended up getting pushed, so I had to fight the 1v2 with no hesitation, grabbed the high ground and got the first opponent. Then I damaged up the second opponent enough to just push him. Won the fight, and now I'm able to revive my teammate without issues. Don't hesitate on the revives. If you're getting pushed and maybe there's 1 second left, then it might just be enough to hold it. But if there's still a few seconds left, then you might just have to fight it out. If you end up getting your teammates up but your opponent's able to hit you at the last second, then you're both in a pretty bad situation with low HP. Just try getting the upper edge on your opponents by building up before they do. That way you'll have an easier time fighting the 1v2. So here's one more example of the same revive pressuring technique I've talked about a few examples ago. I was able to down one of my opponents and I kept shooting at his wall. He kept needing to rebuild it as the storm was getting closer. Now, he wasn't able to revive his teammate and was inside the storm since he kept trying to get the revive off. I ended up missing every shot as he came down, which was a bummer, but at least that's one less opponent I have to worry about. Now, I'll continue this example as we are talking about pinching too. So I was able to get inside one of the buildings and tilt the towers and heard fighting up top. I just kept pushing because the rest of my opponents would have most likely had low HP. It ended up being a 1v1, and if I had played very defensive, I would have gave my opponent time to heal. You never know if your opponents are low on HP. By not pinching players, you give them time to heal and recuperate. You'll have to fight them in the end anyway, so why not maybe give yourself a better fighting chance? So whenever you see or hear fighting going on, then join in, as both players might have low HP. Here's one more example of me pinching my opponent. Now, the fight ended before I got there, and I went for a push on the winning player as he tried healing inside his box. Just kept the pressure on him the whole time, as you should keep that confidence level high, especially if if you know the fight has just ended. He was in full defense mode and just never tried applying any pressure back because he knew he had low HP. If I had pushed earlier, I might have been able to get both kills instead of just the one. Although it was an easy elimination and I haven't had to do much. Just stay confident and think positive. If you hear a firefight going on and you're unsure if you want to jump in, then start changing your mindset. Start joining in knowing that your opponents might be low on HP and you can get a double kill if you get there early enough. You'll start to improve way more if you have that positive mindset. Well guys, that's it for this guide. Hopefully I've helped some people out, and a like and a sub would be greatly appreciated as it does help me out a lot. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and I'll see you on the next one.